Hi everyone, Chris Anderson with Mount Comfort RV. Well, it's a rainy, nasty day here in our Indianapolis facility, but good news is now that we have an indoor showroom, we can be productive even on a rainy, nasty day. So without further ado, we've decided to do a video on something that just arrived. It's a 2021 Thor Magnitude. We started with these last year in 2020, but obviously the 2021s are just rolling out, and we wanted to be the first ones to get a great video out there on this. So let's see if we can't accomplish that goal. We're built on the Ford F550 chassis, which we'll go into in more details here in just a little bit. And there's several different floor plans available. This is the BB35 floor plan. Let's start on the inside and take you through that. All right, as we look around, you're going to see a lot of different, there's a lot of different floor plans in general on Super Cs. This particular one makes a lot of sense for families, and that's kind of where this is targeted at. There's going to be a lot of sleeping space here, a lot of things to turn into beds, that type of thing. So without further ado, we'll start. One of the benefits of a Super C is you can have that big area up over the cab that you don't have in a Class A. And even if you get a Class A that has a drop-down bunk, it's usually not as grandiose as what you see here. So at night, you can turn this into a queen-size bed like you see here, and then during the day or when you're traveling, you can simply take the ladder off, flip this cushion over, and have easier access into the cab area. Your television is actually on a swing arm here, so when you're not using the bed, you can swing this out and it's viewable from the main living area. When it's time for bed, you simply push this back up against the wall. And when you're traveling, there are little nuts up here. You can tighten it down so that it's not bouncing all over the place on you. One of the neat things about this coach is actually they did something very cool up front. And that is put a power shade in front of a window. You know, windows were something when I was growing up in RVs. Windows were pretty popular in Class Cs, and they kind of went away. But the Magnitude has brought that back and given you the ability to block out the sun when you want to. So how slick is that? You have your own lighting up there, you have your own natural light up there, and a power shade if you don't want the light. One of the first things I noticed in this coach was the windows are pretty sizable in here. You know, you've got a decent sized window, very wide, decent height window above the sofa, and then above the dinette you just have a huge window. Both the sofa and the dinette do make into beds. The sofa has seat belts underneath it as well. So you can sleep an extra, 2 to 4 people between the sofa and the booth area. And then, of course, 2 people easy up here, 3 if they're kids. And then I'm going to have Tony turn around and show you the highlight of this BB35 floor plan is actually the bunk beds. You have 2 bunk beds here also. And then when we get back in the bedroom, you're going to see this coach actually has a king-size bed in the bedroom. So this checks a lot of boxes for people looking for a motorhome. One of the neat parts about this is that this is a diesel platform, and on typically diesel pushers they normally start at that $200,000 MSRP and they go up from there. And to get into something that has a king bed and bunk beds and stuff like that, you're usually pushing the ticket very, very high. On this coach does have an MSRP of $218,000 on it, but we can sell this coach for well under $200,000. I can't get into how far under on the video purposes here, but if you give me a call, I will certainly go into that. But way under $200,000 for a diesel coach. This coach has a 10,000-pound hitch on it as well, and it'll actually tow more than that if a person wanted to. The chassis is certainly capable of that. So you have great towing, diesel power, lots of sleeping. All right, let's get into some of the details. Now, new for 2021, they did change their cabinet stylings on here. They used to be a real high gloss cabinetry. They're not. Now this is more of a satin finish. I actually like it better. I'm not a big high gloss guy. This is all solid wood cabinetry. Not only the doors, but the stiles as well are solid wood. That usually pushes you well above the $350,000 price point on diesels when you get into solid wood cabinetry, and we're not near that price point. So there's a lot of value in this coach. The shade package on here, we do have manual day and night shades. You have the screen for during the day, and then at night you can black it out with the fully opaque shade. Take another look at some more cabinetry here. Big spaces in here and no center divider here, which I like, and the cabinetry completely hides that. That's really slick. above the door, we have more storage. All right, as we come back into the kitchen, you're going to see they've put an adjustable shelf here above the sink. So that kind of doubles your storage capacity there. This is a 30-inch convection residential microwave oven. I love this new stove that they're using. This is a true induction stove cooktop. So you have an induction cooktop here and gas burners on either side. So you actually have a 3-burner setup. You have a low output here, a high output here for both propane stove, and then you have an electric also. Nice setup there. Nice Corian or solid surface countertops, I should say. We have a double bowl sink. These are heavy. You can always tell the real solid surface stuff because you have the weight to it. But it's a double bowl stainless sink with the sink covers, pull down sink sprayer. And this is, a nice metal faucet. It's not some plastic. We do have a flip up countertop when you're working back here for a little extra space. And then we'll get into some of the kitchen storage here. Underneath the sink, we have space for a trash can. So many times manufacturers forget that. And then let's look at our drawer setup here. Of course, these are full extension ball bearing drawer glides. But there's 3 nice drawers there. Shut that. And then again, they put an adjustable shelf in so you can kind of set that up for pots and pans or for whatever you want. Across from this, we have a Whirlpool residential refrigerator with an ice maker. Lots of storage space in here. And they've put a custom little lock on there so you don't get surprises while you're going down the road. Nothing like hitting a good bump and the orange juice comes out and splatters all over the place. So with the lock on there, you don't have to worry about that. When we come into the bathroom, we have a nice glass shower enclosure. Decent sized shower for what we're dealing with here. Again, remember we're on a 35-foot coach. You can't fit everything that fits in a 45-foot coach in here, but they've managed to put bunk beds and a sofa and a booth and a bathroom and a king-size bed all in one motorhome, which is a nice package. They did give you a nice medicine cabinet, again, solid wood, not some piece of plastic. And then down below, new for this year, they have relocated the water filter to a much more convenient spot to get on that. This is a porcelain toilet as well, not a piece of plastic. And then right here in the bathroom, that's my control for the hot water on demand. It's a tankless water heater system. A little more storage up top here. Towel racks, toilet paper holders, built-in robe rack over here. So many times manufacturers throw that stuff in a box and let the end user figure it out. Thor's not doing that. They actually mount all that stuff for you, and it looks good. All right, let's get back to what will probably sell this coach, will be the bunk beds. 2 bunk beds. These are big enough for an adult to sleep on if you wanted to. They each have their own TV monitor system in them as well. They have their own light. They have their own blinds. They both have their own windows. We have storage below. The ladder's in the way a little bit from showing you all of that, and they have their own privacy curtain here so the kids can go to bed and have their own privacy. As we come back into the bedroom, again, this is a king-size bed. One of the first things I look for is, do we have countertop space in here? We do. There's room on both sides for a CPAP machine, and there are also 110-volt outlets on either side. There's a radio in here also, AM, FM, stereo, and you can Bluetooth to that. That's a Jensen sound system. So you kind of have your own entertainment system back in the bedroom. The Coleman air conditioner that you see back here, there's actually 2 of those. They're 13,500 BTU roof mount air conditioners. There are 2 of those, which on a 35-foot coach, that's a lot of air conditioning here. I'm going to open these cabinets. Thanks for the assist there, Tony. That's 2 very large cabinets, 4 doors, 2 cabinets. That's a lot of storage above the bed. That's certainly not someplace you would want to waste any storage. Then look at the drawers in here. We have 8, 9, 10, 11 drawers in this bedroom area here. So we have 4 like this, okay? And then 4 more like this. And then 3 like this. That is a lot of storage, really a lot of storage. And then look at our wardrobe. Okay, good hanging space. And then sometimes I like the little tricks. Have our TV mounted here, but check this out. That flips up and we have storage back there if you want to put a DVD player back there or whatever you want to store back there. I have a policy that if you buy it, I don't care what you store in your cabinet, so you can do whatever you want. All right, so that's a little tour around the inside. Tony about broke his neck on the ladder. Our anti-vibration camera didn't jostle you around too much as Tony's falling backwards. So that's a little bit of a tour on the inside of this coach. We've got some other things we definitely want to go over. We're going to spend some time in the cab and chassis area also. So let's move this to the outside. Okay. One of the things I wanted to hit before we go outside is actually our Firefly system here. Firefly system controls all of our main house controls in here, from lighting to slide outs to awnings, that type of thing. And this is a nice setup. We also have multiplex lighting, so when you're coming up the step well, you can turn on light up the entire coach right here coming in, kind of have a master light on and master light off, and you have a few of these little panels located throughout where you can control just individual lights, so you don't always have to come back to this panel. But this panel does have your main control system on it. Okay, from the home screen where we're at now, we can do master light on and off, turns on all the ceiling lights in here. That's how we opened the shade control for that front shade. We can see our holding tanks over here. Tell how much of our how much juice our batteries have in them, both house and chassis here. We can control our generator, start and stop it, and even AGS, which AGS is auto generator start. You can set this up for the generator to automatically start if the batteries get a little bit low, or if it reaches a certain temperature in here. Say you've left and gone off on a hike, you left your pets in here, you didn't need didn't need air conditioning when you left, but just in case it got warm, you set it up to, hey, if it gets above 75 degrees, I want the generator to start so the air conditioners run and cool off the coach. You can set all that up on here as well. As we move down through this, we can see those are actually the generator, the auto gen settings on this screen. We have a separate dedicated area for lighting. You don't always have to do master light on and off. You can be a little more exact than that, which lights you want to turn on. Our HVAC controller in here for our heating and cooling of the unit. Come down at one more. Those are our fans, our ceiling fans. You know, these fantastic fans are nice, but they're getting taller and taller ceilings in coaches today. If you're 5'2", you don't have a prayer reaching them. Well, your controls for them are now in here. Move down again. We have our slide out and our awning control in here. And then our final one goes into some settings and some diagnostics, that type of thing. One of the cool parts about this, and I love this setup, is they have, I'm not checking my text messages, they actually have an app for this. Where'd it go? Vega Touch is the name of it. Now, I am going to have a word with Thor because they actually charged me 99 cents for this app. So, not real happy about that. I'll be sending somebody a bill for that. Let me put in my PIN number here. And the neat part about this is the same controls that I have here on the app. So I can be outside. When you're opening your awning, if there's a branch that you're close to or another RV that you're close to, when you're opening your slide out, how close am I to that picnic table? Well, I'd much rather be standing next to the slide out on the outside of the coach than standing inside here where I really can't see. Makes it very, very nice to do. So wanted to get to that. And one other thing I forgot before we go outside, because they kind of tucked it away here in a nice spot, but it's kind of hidden from sight. That's our fully automatic leveling system on this coach. So you can auto level this coach with just the touch of a button. While I've got my phone out playing with the goodies, I wanted to kind of demonstrate what I was talking about there. So I'm just holding the awning, front awning extend button on my phone. And like I said, it's very nice. Now, I obviously knew it wasn't going to get over here and get into anything, but in the campground scenario, there's low branches and stuff, maybe a tree that you can actually be a little close to, that it's much more comfortable to stand out here and take a look while you're doing this, so you just make sure you're not going to damage your awning. This is a carefree legless awning, so you don't have those arms that come back to the coach. I don't know how many times I've run into those over the years. You can kind of see on our old Holiday Rambler over there in the corner, you see some of those arms that go back down to the coach. And those are easy to run into, especially if you've had a couple of adult beverages near the campfire. Not that I've ever done that. And when you want to put the awning back in, same thing, just hit retract and we can go on to bigger and better things. So one of the first things I noticed about this motorhome is the one-piece front cap here. Historically, Class Cs have had some trouble with the corners and the seams. When you have a corner right here or underneath, those can be classic areas where you might eventually get a leak. And obviously that's a horrible thing to have happen. When you use a one-piece molded fiberglass cap, you eliminate that. The other thing is frameless windows. Frameless windows, folks, they just look good. They look so darn good from the outside, even though some of them may not open as wide as a sliding window. They don't rattle like sliding windows. And if you tilt this window open, you know, a couple inches, you can have it open in the rain and have your fantastic fan on the inside, and it'll still pull a nice breeze through, and they just look like $1,000,000. This is a new paint scheme as well. I forget the name of it, but I'll come back to that. I've got some notes of some things information I want to give you here in just a little bit. But this is a brand new full body paint scheme on this coach also. Now, get into a little bit of the storage. We do have side mount cameras on here, which you would expect, and you have a backup camera on here also. Let's get into a little bit of the storage though. This, the way they did those compartment doors, made it open very nicely. You see in there to your left, you actually have a light, number one, and number two, there's an inverter. On the MSRP sheet, that's listed as an 1800 watt inverter. I will tell you right now, that's a typo. That's a 2000 watt inverter. So they must have run short on 1800s and threw a 2000 in. So hard to complain about getting a little extra juice for your inverter. Out here, we have a TV. This is on a pull-out arm. All right. And we have a little sound bar out here that you can Bluetooth pair to as well. This is right out under your awning, so you can sit out here. This is a good height. So many times they put these outside TVs way up here, and they're fine if you're standing up. But if you're sitting in a chair, which happens quite often in the campground scenario, they can really be too high. So I like the fact that they've brought that down. All right, more storage here. We have outside outlets here if we need someplace to plug in and charge our cell phones. Little more storage here. Little propane hookup here if you got a propane grill you want to bring with you. That will go perfectly with the outside kitchen on this coach. Okay. Now one thing that's nice, you have a little shelter here underneath this. If you're 6'5", you may not like this as well, but for me, it's wonderful. Storage out here. Again, we have outlets out here so that we can plug in and charge something, or if we wanted to plug the toaster in out here, so we're making breakfast. While you're cooking the eggs, you can be cooking the toast as well. Good storage. Refrigerator so the kids don't have to run inside every time they need a drink. Have a nice light out here also. All right, we'll shut this door. This is our fresh water fill for the coach. They put it up high so little kids can't very easily get to it, but that's just a nice gravity fill. You can see underneath that awning, I have the lights on as well. That's actually an LED light, so that'll light up your entire patio area. Now when we come back here, we see the 10,000-pound hitch. I made mention that the coach is capable of more than that. Well, your actual towing is determined by your gross combined weight ratio of the chassis, and if you look at all the specs on this chassis, you can actually tow up to 15,500 pounds with it. They stuck a 10,000-pound hitch on it, but if somebody wanted to beef up that hitch and go to 15,000 pounds, you absolutely could. No reason at all why you can't do that. One-piece molded rear cap, kind of the same thing as what we talked about on the front cap. It's just going to, when you have one piece, it's just that much less likely to have any leakage problems or anything like that. We do have a camera with a microphone built in at the top there. That is our backup camera. The ladder is standard equipment. This is a full walk-on roof, and we're going to show you a shot of that also. All right, this is the best way to get a good shot of the roof. Talk about the roof material a little bit. The material you see there is called TPO. TPO stands for thermopolyolefin. Now, a lot of times people get TPO mixed up with rubber. They are completely different roofs. A rubber roof requires a fairly frequent treating of the rubber to keep it from drying out. This does not. This doesn't require any more maintenance than a fiberglass roof would. So You'll see the little, the white caulk around the different items on the roof there. That's called a self-leveling lap sealant. And you do need to annually, really twice a year, I tell people do it in the spring and do it in the fall, you really need to check that to make sure it's not dried or peeling or cracked. But that's all the real roof maintenance you need. You don't ever need to put a conditioner or anything on this. And this roof does, the TPO actually has a 12-year warranty on it. So good roof. Now right in the middle of that you see big old solar panel. That's a 100-watt solar panel. That's going to be great for extending any boondocking trips you might have. That does charge your batteries. So 100 watt will put a pretty decent charge on a battery. So that's a nice addition there. You see the two 13,500 BTU roof air conditioners that I mentioned on there. You see your roof vents and your skylight above the shower, that type of thing. And up in front of that front air conditioner is actually a Wi-Fi antenna as well that this coach is equipped with. So lots to see. The main thing, this is an area where a manufacturer can hide if they do really sloppy work. I wanted to show this because, quite frankly, when I came up here, I was very impressed with the roof. It looked very, very clean. Everything's well sealed. This is a good-looking roof for an RV. All right, I've started the engine up just because one of the safety features of this is they do want the engine running and the parking brake set before the slide will operate. But once again, I'm using my phone. Just going to hold retract in. And look at that. The slide is coming in. So much nicer to be able to do this from the outside of the coach. As you can see, curled up here on the floor, we have a 50 amp shore power cord. So that is what is needed to run 2 roof air conditioners, and that's what this coach comes supplied with. Okay, so we have the compartments on the driver's side to go over as well. Now, one thing I didn't mention in the previous compartments, this is Rotocast. Rotocast is a type of plastic. They even got a little drain in there, so if things do get wet in here, you can let the water out. But Rotocast is neat because they can make it in many different shapes, but it's seamless. It's not 2 corners that are welded together or plastic welded together. Actually what it is they put these in big molds. It starts out as a bunch of little BBs and little plastic BBs is what they are, and then they put it in these big these big molds, and they rotate it around through the furnace, and they can make whatever shape they want, and it all comes out the equal thickness throughout the entire surface. So they can make them in whatever shapes they want, but they're nice, they're seamless, they're waterproof. So you have Rotocast throughout the entire compartments as we go down through here. As we move forward, we see our rear fuel tank. This coach does have 2 fuel tanks on it, so that gives you a total fuel volume of about 68 gallons is what we're looking at there. Here's our wet bay. We have hot and cold water out here. We do have a black tank flush in there as well. We have our actual dump valves that are inside this area, so they're not exposed to the elements in here. We do have a light in here. There's a master cargo light switch that lights up these compartments. This is our city water connection out here, easy to get to, and the nice part about that is you can actually have your city water hooked up and have all your compartment doors closed. You're not shutting a hose in the door or anything. As we move forward, you do get a good shot of the Ford aluminum wheels there because they are gorgeous aluminum wheels. Sorry, I threw Tony a curveball there. He didn't know I was going to do that one. And then you can see another nice Rotocast storage compartment. You have a lot more storage on this Class C motorhome than you do on a typical Class C motorhome. All right, now a couple things. This is our furnace exhaust over here. And then this is a tankless water heater. So that's hot water on demand, and if you're hooked up to water, you can take as long a shower as you want with that. One of the nice parts about going to a diesel coach is you get a diesel generator. This is a 6,000 watt Awning quiet diesels, so easy peasy there. We come forward, we see our fill for our DEF is here. That's diesel exhaust fluid. We've talked about that in a lot of different videos. That has to do with the emissions or the after treatment on the engine. If you have questions on DEF, I don't want to take a lot of time on this. I can answer all of them. Don't hesitate to give us a call and we'll talk to you about the after treatment on the engines and that type of thing. You see our propane bottle in here as well, and our hydraulic pump for our jacks. All right, moving forward, let's talk a little bit more about power. Big reason you do this is for the extra power that you get with a diesel platform over a gas platform. Now this is the 6.7 liter Ford diesel engine that they've been using for several years now. Very reliable power plant. This is 330 horsepower. They did raise the torque on this engine up to 825. It was 750 last year. It's 825 this year for this application. So a significant jump up in torque, which you're going to love. But I know a lot of times we don't actually show the engines and the goodies, but I know there's some gearheads out there that like a good view of the engine. It is a turbo diesel, and you can see all the goodies there. Get that Ford emblem in there. For you Ford guys, Chevy guys, close your eyes. If you love the bow tie, just close your eyes. They don't make this on a bow tie, I'm sorry. All right, so we've been around the outside of this. We've been on the inside. Let's talk about some of the cab and chassis features. Okay, so we put Tony in the driver's seat so we can get some good footage of the cab area here, because this is unlike any other cab area we use. You see the big extended mirrors to start with, and those are power mirrors, so makes it nice. You know, I say things like power mirrors and people think, well, duh. You'd be surprised how many Class C motorhomes do not have power mirrors, and so that's just a corner that manufacturers cut. So you see your power mirror control and power window control here. Of course, we do have power locks, and it's got keyless entry, both with a key fob in the cab area here, and you can punch in the code on the outside of the coach. Now, as you get up into the instrument cluster area, oh, good shot down there, Tony. That was actually, it does have auto headlights on it, so you don't see motorhomes with auto headlights on them very often, so that's a nice feature there. As you get up into the instrument cluster area, you can see everything's very well laid out. You can see all your gauges. You can even scroll through a menu with the steering wheel controls there, and you can see both of your fuel tank capacities and that type of thing. All the controls are right there on the touch wheel for controlling your menus to cruise control, that type of thing. Now, out on the stalk there, the shifter, if you will, you see a drive mode. This coach has several different drive modes to it. You have your normal mode, you have your tow haul mode, you actually have an eco mode, and then you have a deep snow or sand mode. So you can put it in a lot of different modes. If you put it in that eco mode, it might get 30 miles to the gallon. It might not as well, but you never know, it might. That's all I'm saying about that. Now, if we go down just a little bit under the shifter there, Tony, you're going to see some levers down there, down a little, to the left. There we go. This coach has built-in brake control in it, integrated brake control. So nice feature there that's built into the chassis. You don't have to add a separate brake control, and of course, being built in, that's going to be completely proportional. Okay, I wanted to wrap this up and make sure I didn't miss anything as far as features, warranty, structure, that type of thing. I'd made myself a bunch of notes here, so I am going to cheat and I'm going to use those just to make sure we get the information out there to you. First of all, this is the two-wheel drive Ford F550 chassis. They make a four-wheel drive version, but it's floor plan dependent. You don't do this floor plan is two-wheel drive only. Some of the other floor plans, if you look up Thor Magnitude online, you're going to see that they do make some with a 4x4 platform as well. I don't know who goes off-roading in these things, but just in case. New for 2021, there is the 10-speed transmission as well. They had the 6-speed transmission in it last year. This year they went forward to the 10-speed transmission, so that's going to keep it a little quieter and probably help the fuel economy a little bit. You know, I never sell motorhomes based on fuel economy, so that's what we have there. Let's talk warranties a little bit. The coach has a 1-year bumper-to-bumper warranty on it, so that pretty much covers everything. And then there's some other warranties that are a little more specific. There's 3-year structural, anything with the structure of the box, the studs in the wall, anything like that, that's going to be covered on the 3-year warranty. Your chassis warranty has a 3-year 36,000 mile warranty on anything Ford supplied. There's also a 5-year 60,000 mile warranty on the drivetrain, then a 5-year 100,000 mile warranty on the diesel engine, and you do get 5 years 60,000 miles roadside assistance, so tough to beat that. We talked about the auto headlights on there. One thing we didn't talk about is this coach also is equipped with the Ford Pass Connect. And what that is, that's a system where you can, again, download a different app, a Ford app, and you can start and stop your engine like a remote start. You can check on fuel levels, unlock the coach, that type of thing remotely. And it does have a built-in modem and hotspot into the Ford. You can pay, a Ford data plan and then have your own little Wi-Fi router right here in the coach connecting to the Ford chassis portion of things. So nice setup there. This coach does have heated holding tanks. I didn't talk about that, but the holding tanks do have tank heaters on them. I mentioned the outside paint was new. I couldn't remember the name of it. It's called Grand Falls is the name of the paint. This interior package is called Black Diamond 2, and the cabinets are called Regatta. So that covers a little bit about that area there. Structurally on this coach, the floor is constructed with tubular steel in the floor, so very solid on our most important surface, which is the floor. The walls and the roof are vacuum bond, and they use tubular aluminum in the walls and roof in there. Anywhere there's an opening in this coach where they're going to put a window, they actually completely perimeter, welded aluminum perimeter around that window. You would be stunned how many coaches actually use just basically they route out the wall, the fiberglass and the foam in the wall, and they stick a window in there and put no framing around it whatsoever. It's a very common practice, and there are some very big manufacturers that do that. That is not done here. Every opening that's in this coach, they actually do use aluminum perimeter in the framing of it. So that's just the tip of the iceberg with our 2021 Thor Magnitude. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do us a favor. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our page. If you have questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. This is what we do. We don't make money off of doing videos, although we enjoy doing them and we enjoy bringing you the information. But if you're shopping for a coach, give us the opportunity. You'll find us to be very price competitive, and we do the job right, and I hope that comes through in everything we do. Thanks for watching this today. My name is Chris Anderson. I'm with Mount Comfort RV. We'll see you next time.